When you talk about fresh peas from the garden today, most people are going to think about something like this, which is an edible pod pea. But earlier in the last century, the regular English pea was much more common. It was very common to find them fresh, whether you grew them yourself or whether you went to the market. It was a fresh pea that you came across. The canned peas kind of took over as we needed to be able to transport things, to store things, but they never really tasted as good. And in my mind, while I like canned peas, they're a completely different vegetable. They're so different. So what I'm doing today, you can use either frozen peas, which came along and actually preserved a lot more of the flavor than a canned pea does. It's in relation to a fresh pea. So frozen peas would work, or you can use the fresh pea from the garden. This you can either cook in a saucepan, cook the peas in about 1 inch of boiling water for about 7 minutes. It'll take you about a cup or a pound for every cup of peas that you want to end up with shelled. So for this recipe, which takes about 3 cups of peas, you're going to have to start with about 3 pounds of fresh peas. It'll take you a little bit of time, but it's very worth it because this is so good. This is called peas with honey and pecan butter. And what I have here is the 3 cups of peas that I cooked in the microwave. And depending on the size of your microwave and whether you're using fresh or frozen, it'll probably take somewhere between 8 to 10 minutes to cook the peas. To that, we're going to use 1½ teaspoons of margarine that you either melt in the microwave, or if you're cooking them on the stove, put them in a nice heat-proof container and set it near the dish, and the butter will, or the margarine will melt while you're cooking. I've added to that a tablespoon of honey, and the last thing that's going in here is 3 tablespoons of chopped pecans. Now this is so simple to do once you get the peas shelled that you're going to wonder why you didn't do this all the time. Peas are very similar to corn in that once they are harvested, the sugar will start to turn to starch very, very quickly. Not quite as quickly as it does with corn, but it is a very fast process. So if you aren't going to be able to eat them right away, make sure that you store them in the refrigerator. This is why freezing is so helpful, because it freezes that flavor in at that point. It also freezes the nutrients in there at that point, so that you get something that has the nutrient retention and the flavor and color retention of something that's fresh, but that you're able to store for a much longer time. And this is an example of one of the foods where it's very pronounced that freezing is actually preferred in many cases to getting it fresh, if fresh means that it's maybe 2 weeks away from the garden. In that case, you're better off with frozen. Again, very, very simple. This is now ready to eat. That's all there is to it. It's peas with honey pecan butter. I hope you're going to try it. For Oklahoma Gardening, this is Barbara Brown.